Answer guys. Because he was speaking about his relationship with the ACs with respect to his hair. Nothing much to say there. Okay, can I request everybody to come in front and ensure there is not a single seat vacant in front of you? Because you will be doing something. No teacher ever likes last benchers. So front row is available, no premium prices. Friends at the top, will you come down? There shouldn't be a single empty chair in front of you, simple as that. I still have some friends in the last row when they have enough seats in the front. Nilesh Basari, is that you? Nilesh is recently married. They're sitting with his wife in the last row, just the two of them, suddenly 5 more came. All this planning went waste. Kind of set. Two very crucial things. One, the ability to take initiatives. Very, very crucial aspect of life. Today life is so fast. Anybody who has the ability to take initiatives will always have an edge over others. And two, the ability to be free. Sometimes we are too bothered about what somebody else might think about us. And in that, the freedom to express is sometimes curtailed. And when the freedom to express gets curtailed, so often what gets bottled up is joy. I ask this question every time I go to train teachers. If your child calls you for a wedding, and when I say if your child, it means any student of yours. If your child calls you for their wedding, will you take some money from them to come there? They are asked at this question and they say, of course not, it will be such a pleasure to attend my child's wedding. And then we follow up asking, in case we invite Shah Rukh Khan for the wedding, will he take some money? What do you think is the answer? How much? See, the benefit about India is, even if we don't know anything, we have an opinion on everything. So you may not Shah Rukh, you don't know what is the rate, but every 5 crore. And then we talk to teachers and say, while you are educators, they are entertainers. Unfortunately, but the truth is, entertainers are valued much more than educators are. But the way to live life is shown by the educators. How would it be if educators can become entertainers? And that is what happens when a movie like Three Idiots comes. That is what happens when we have a movie like Dangal, where through entertainment, ideas, enlightenment, insights are shared with people. Now, to be entertained, we need to be a little free. And the heart has to be filled with joy. And in the next 2-3 minutes, that is what we are going to attempt. I will give you some scenarios, and you have to act that scenario with your partner in any direction, left, right, behind, ahead. I leave the choice to you. Be free. So first choose your partner, with whom are you going to act? And choose each other. One chooses A, chooses B, B has to choose A. B can't say no, I don't like to see you. Now, first acting, how are you going to behave? The two of you have to start a conversation. And the conversation, the theme of the conversation is, I don't want to be here at all. Okay? You have 5 seconds to think. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Now what will you do? Okay, in this direction, I don't want you to go too hard. Some of you might walk out also. Don't want to take chances. And I have never seen a bunch of people happily telling others I don't want to be here. Situation number 2. Now this will require some body movement. First thing, you can sit and you can chat. This, again, it depends on how free you feel. You are meeting a friend after years and he is promising to return the loan he has taken from you. Okay, 5. So you can change the friend, you can go to somebody else, you can make the same person, choice is yours. People have already started talking, I have not even started the countdown. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final scenario. You have just got a message and the message says, you have won a lottery of 100 crores. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the lottery agent, 2%. 5%. 1.5. Okay. Did you buy the lottery ticket? The key inside the classroom is going to be, can you make the children inside the class laugh? There are 2 things happen when people laugh. One, they feel connected with you, barriers are broken. Anybody who makes me laugh, I naturally like that person, so barriers are broken. And second, people come to the present. We can be absent-mindedly sad. I have not met any person who can be absent-mindedly happy. Unless there are some exceptions in this all. For you to be happy, you have to be in the present. And when people are in the present, they move to a listening frame of mind. Otherwise, they may not be in the listening frame of mind. When does a social revolution happen? When does social change happen? You look around our country and you will find so many issues. Whether it is traffic, whether it is sanitation, whether it is environment, whether it is corruption, whether it's the speed at which things should happen, whether it's opportunities, there are so many issues. When will the issues get solved? There are three situations that is required for the issues to get solved. Situation number one, enough people have to be interested. Only then an issue can get solved. If only I am interested, I will not be able to solve the issue. My first work becomes to get enough people interested in finding a solution, which is what we are attempting to do through Keep Moving movement. You read the newspapers and you read, a child scores 94% in 12th, appears for NEET, doesn't qualify and commits suicide. Now, which means this is a child who is a performer. Academically, yes. Memory-wise, yes. But emotions? Probably a little weak. Which means, I know how to score marks. I know how to do well in a subject. But I may be a little weak when it comes to handling disappointments that life offers to me. So issue can be there in the newspaper. Millions of people can read about it. They have some data that they can share with friends. But if enough people are not interested in solving this issue, it will remain as an issue. 2 years ago we realized doing KMM in Pune is a very good step. What we are doing over here is very nice, fulfilling, impactful. But it is like a drop or two of water on a hot stove. It is not going to be enough. We took the initiative of speaking to a few people, and surprisingly, some of them agreed to have Keep Moving movement in their respective places. It all started with the beautiful city of Udaipur. When Adi took the initiative, spoke to folks over there, and the city was started. It did brilliantly well, and inspired by that, we kept on expanding. Last year, we had Keep Moving movement in about 14 cities. And we decided to take a leap of faith. What is a leap of faith? I would love to do something really magnificent. If we can reach there, if we can succeed, it's awesome. If we don't, I'll be very glad I gave it a shot. Which means there's going to be no regrets whatsoever. Even if the results that I wanted to bring does not happen. So we took a leap of faith, and from 14 cities, we decided we want to expand it into 100 cities in a single year. Some beautiful people responded. They went out of their way, traveled across the city, spoke to people, shared with them what is their personal experience of Keep Moving movement, and really devoted themselves to this cause of expanding the footprints so that more and more people can join. And very soon, it should be a large enough number where a change will become transformation. Change is something which happens temporarily. Water changes into water vapor. Transformation, on the other hand, is permanent. A caterpillar transforms itself into a butterfly. That butterfly cannot become a caterpillar back again. So the idea was, how is it that we can expand, reach out to as many people as possible? Whatever happens, I will keep moving. Like Vikas shared, sad news is we could not reach 100. Glad news is, this year KMM will be done, besides Pune, in 54 more places. done to all of you who made it possible. Some by running around, some by spirit, some by motivation, some by efforts. Not exactly excited, but we know we are on the right path. And in times to come, we should be able to reach where we wish to reach. So factor number one, which is responsible in social transformation, is when enough people get interested in solving an issue. Factor number two, people who have start fighting on behalf of people who don't have. So let's say the elite, people who are well-to-do, people who have benefited, people who are blessed, looks at the struggle of those who are not as fortunate as they are. And their heart reaches out to them and say, I want to support you and I want to lift you. So Mother Teresa starts a movement like Missionaries of Charity, goes and speaks to friends and well-wishers, and some of them who have extend the money which is required for the entire movement to happen. Then the haves do not contribute, for the have-nots to rise by themselves is a huge challenge. So the second factor which makes a social transformation happen is when those who are blessed reach out to those who are not blessed yet. And that is what the volunteers of Keep Moving movement are all about. Each one of you is blessed. Each one of us had a beautiful life compared to millions out there. Each one of us, being a part of Keep Moving movement, have a fantastic support system. We have amazing guidance. We have people who we can fall back on, people with whom we can speak anything which occurs to us. If we are ever down, if we are ever sad, if we are ever lost, there is not one but a bunch of people we can speak with. And the memories of you taking the class flashes in those moments. There will be times when things look very difficult and we feel like giving up. In those moments, if we can choose to be happy, then we have some very solid strength within. Now this is one statement which is made by the person I'm going to speak to you about today. So thank you so much. Because you come in, the haves come in. You obviously grow in the process. But most importantly, at least 50 children inside the classroom will be touched by you. You will be instrumental in lifting these children. In times to come, these kids will reach out to other kids, who will reach out to other kids, and we will reach a scale by which we can say, in our country like India, there are no suicides which happen. In our country like India, we don't do anything carried away by our emotions. You know, in the Bible it is very beautifully said. Should I say, Bible doesn't say, don't be angry. Bible says, in anger, do not commit a sin. Which means now and then I will be tested in life. But in those times, if I can stay composed, I become a role model for many, many people to look at and understand what is possible. So the second factor required for social change, enough people who are capable wish to lift enough people who are not capable yet. And that becomes the turning point which multiplies its impact. Factor number three, when we are looking at impact, when we are looking at scale, when we are looking at growth, courage and fearlessness has to be a part of us. When we are looking at impact, when we are looking at volume, when you are looking at social work, fear cannot be a part of our personalities. KMM is a demanding program. 7 sessions, and in 7 sessions, high quality stuff has to be delivered inside the classrooms. In 7 sessions, we adhere to a beautiful sense of discipline. Come for these sessions on Sunday mornings. Go to your AC meetings to understand how to take the session a little deeper. Practice the mocks with the ACs. Update things as required. Irrespective of the temptation which life offers to you or the emergencies that life offers to you, you still remain focused on the responsibility you have assumed in your shoulders of going inside the classroom and teaching at least 50 lives. Which means there might be a business deal sometime. There may be a fractured bone sometimes. But you ignore all that because you're very, very clear about what you want to achieve. That sense of responsibility on your shoulders is a little demanding when it comes to life. But it is also highly rewarding. Some people sometimes get a little scared about the quantity of commitment which is required. But then when you want to do something beautiful in life, fear is not a good companion. So we need to know how to deal with that fear and ensure that fear does not allow us to make those choices which fear wants. We make those choices based on courage. I'm very glad that when somebody becomes a part of Keep Moving movement, they become a part of all the 3 social factors which leads to success. Let's do some more thinking. Can you think of any award, local, national, global, any award? किसी award के बारे में सोच सकते हैं? Grammy, okay. Can you just raise your hands? I'll identify you. Yes? Bharat Ratna, okay. Is that Harshan?
Yeah, Olympic gold.
Olympic gold. I like it, not Swapnil's gold. Huh.
Nobel Prize.
Nobel Prize. Filmfare Award. Who is that person? Right award. My friend in the last? FIFA. Oh, FIFA, football. Okay. Right. Now, yes? Magsaysay Award. Okay. Yes? Padma Bhushan. Okay, Padma Shri. Okay. Shiv Chhatrapati Award. Okay. This I hadn't heard of. Dronacharya Award. Okay. Now, those of you who already received your notebooks, you can open your notebooks and write down the name of any award which comes to your mind. Those of you who haven't received your notebooks, you can take out your phone, first put it on flight mode, and then write about any award which comes to your mind. And those of you who don't have both, just think in your mind. By the way, if any mobile phone rings, we have no issues. You just have to come to the stage and do 10 push-ups. That's all. And I might sit on you. Written? Name of the award? Any award? Okay, great. Let me introduce you to a person who's probably the most fascinating person I've heard about. Her name is Lizzie. Volunteers, can we have the sheets, please? Take one and pass on the rest. Extras, please pass it. In case somebody has not received it, may you behind your hands, please, so that the sheets can come to you, or that whole pocket is there. Keep your hands up so that the volunteers can reach you. May I have one sheet with me? Thanks. Okay, everybody got it? Please settle down. Now each speaker will get enough sheets for you to distribute in your class. Settle down. Here is an extraordinary story. This girl, Lizzie, has a very rare disease. The disease which only 2 people on this planet have. And the disease is, there are no fats in her body, no adipose tissue at all. Her body cannot make fat. Which also means there is not a gram of fat on her body. Which also means she has to eat every 15 minutes. If she does not eat for a max of 30 minutes, she will die. Which means she doesn't know a full night's sleep. And obviously, when you see her face and her body which does not have single fat, you know how she looks. She is 5 feet 2 inches tall and her body weight is 23.5 kgs. When she was 4 years old, she became blind in the right eye. And she has been called the ugliest woman alive on this planet. Today she is 29 years old. And a little while ago she was asked this question. Would you like your disease to be cured? And her answer was, of course not. And when the reporter persisted, she answered, this disease of mine has made me who I am. Now this girl, in spite of being called as the ugliest woman, has a brilliant sense of humor. She says, you know, when I don't like someone, I just make them stand on my right. Because I can't see from my right hand. And the second reason she said is because of the family that I have. My family has never given me sympathy. My family has never looked down at me. My family has never been disgusted with the way I look. In fact, my parents treat me as if I am a princess. She goes on to say, when I will not have a single friend at school, I will come back home crying, I'll hug my mother and I'll tell her, why doesn't anybody like me? Why does everybody hate me? Why do they call me a monster? Why do they shriek in horror when they look at me? These are not my faults. I didn't ask for this kind of a body. Her mother will hug her and tell her, my child, you are a little different. He has given you a body where you will always be smaller than others. People are not able to see the beauty in you. But don't mind. Go to school, keep smiling at people. One day, there will be enough people who will understand how good you are, how beautiful you are, and they will want to have you as friends. Now imagine the strength of the parents when they are telling the child to face the world. They are not telling the child, escape, stay at home, I will do homeschooling for you, world is very bad. None of that. keep smiling at them. And one day they will see the beautiful you are. And she says, I'm a fun kid. I like to have fun. But the friends would have. Today she says, I have been bullied my entire life, but it's absolutely okay. My life is difficult, but it's absolutely okay. When I go for a tour, my roomies get disturbed because every 15-20 minutes they can hear some noise of some wrapper being opened because I have to eat. And they say, how can you eat so much? She says, I am blessed. Whatever I eat, I will never become fat. I'm a cool girl. She says, initially, it was very difficult. I also used to curse myself for my body. Every morning when I wake up, I will wish a miracle has happened in the night and my face has changed. I will run to the mirror hoping God would have answered my prayers and I'm looking beautiful. And I will look at my face and I will get so disappointed with God. When she was in school, a child made an 8-second video, no music, put it on YouTube, and the title was The Ugliest Woman Alive. That video had 4 million views and thousands of comments. And the comments included words like, why don't you do the world a favor and kill yourself? Comments like, put a gun to your temple, commit suicide so that this world can be a better place. Comment like, because of you we are not able to sleep well at night. Why don't you jump off a bridge and just die? Comments like, are you not ashamed of showing your face every day to us? You know, we live in a world which is very vulnerable, where somebody makes one comment about you and we may not be able to handle it. Let's say somebody is a little dark in color and somebody says, you are very dark. And anger shoots up. Somebody finds some flaw in your work and you might rebut them by saying, you can only see mistakes in me, right? And frustration shoots up. We are so vulnerable, we want validation and appreciation all the time. And for insignificant little feedbacks, we break relationships. The atmosphere in the house goes for a toss. Fights happen. Who the hell are you to tell me? And here is Lizzie, who's been given comments like this. And people bring their phones to her and say, see what is written about you. Don't you have some sense? Lizzie said, yes, there was a phase in my life when life was very difficult, but not so today. Today life has changed. And she goes on to explain how life has changed. She says, I am the driver of my car. I choose whether the car goes on a rocky road, or it goes on an express highway, or it goes inside the jungle off-roading. It's my car and I will choose where I want to go. She goes on to say, I will not let any bully in the world who calls me a monster to define me. Now there is something very magnificent about this statement. I will not let any bully in the world who calls me a monster to define me. I'm going to define myself. My success, my goals, my happiness will define me. She had a goal. I want to write a book. And she says, that is what will define me. Somebody calls me a monster. That is not going to define me. You know, it's so amazing. Lizzie has gone on to write 4 books. What is the first book that she wrote? Lizzie, Beautiful. That she writes along with her mother how she is such a happy person, irrespective of what the world thinks about her. In this vulnerable world, all of us seem very breakable. But here is a girl who says, I am unbreakable. Call me what you want. And she says, let life be very hard. Let people be very hard. But I'm going to use that hardness to create my life. Now think about your life. What is hard about your life today? Can you use it to create your life? For Lizzie, it was the shocking statements of people and an appeal every day, multiple times, why don't you die? Can you imagine a life where every day, multiple times, somebody tells you, die off? And you write a book called Be You, Be Beautiful. Her third book was about happiness. When she says, in spite of that, I choose to be happy. And let me see who can take away my happiness from me. You tell me whatever you want. Let me see if you can take away my happiness. I'm unbreakable. You don't want to be my friend? It's okay. You want to call me a monster? It's okay. You have a right to call me what you want. But I have decided to be happy. I am unbreakable. Today, what makes us sad? What makes us look at life with a doubt? What makes us think we are not good enough? What makes us think future is dark? What makes us break? Let's think about children inside the school. Class 9 and 10. What makes them break? Compared to Lizzie, is there an issue? You're a child in a family where you have single parents. So what? You don't have as much pocket money as you would need. So what? Your friends speak bad about you when you are absent. Okay? So what? You like someone and that person does not like you back in turn. Initially it was as if it's going to work out. Then he or she backed out. And that makes you very angry. How could he betray me? Okay. So what? You live in a family where you don't get as much encouragement as you would wish. Okay. So what? You don't have great teachers inside your classroom. Okay. So what? Your bench partner disturbs you? Okay. So what? Coming to adult life. Take a couple of minutes and think. What is hard about your life today? What makes you sad? What makes you angry? What makes you withdraw? What makes it difficult for you to forgive? Our life is not as bad as we wish to think or wish to believe it is. If Lizzie can be happy, none of us have a right to be sad or miserable. We are blessed and future looks awesome. Some of you over here will go through some financial losses. Some of you sometime will get your money stuck. Some of us will lose a relationship very close to us. Some of us will have key employees on whom we have invested quite a lot, suddenly deciding to leave you and go away. Some of you will be uprooted from the city where you are comfortable and you have to travel somewhere else. Some of you might be an expert in the subject and it might become obsolete and you have to go back to learning. Some of you might be overweight. Some of you may be in a family where people don't listen to you. Some of you might have this thinking that I'm not understood as much as I want to be understood. Can you use the hardness of life to move on and become progressive and produce results? Lizzie says, you throw a brick at me, I will catch it and create a wall for my house. You throw a stick at me, I will use it to make a ladder. You throw fire at me, I will stroke that fire to light the fire within me and go on to excel and succeed in my life. You give me any negativity you want, and I will use that negativity to produce fantastic, fantabulous results in my life. Lizzie, the ugliest woman on this planet. Lizzie, a person who says, I am unbreakable. You know how many YouTube followers she has? 850,000. You know how many times her videos have been watched? And she has a video on how to apply makeup. Can you look at her self-esteem? See, I apply makeup and I teach you how to apply makeup. What's wrong in that? You know how many views to her YouTube channel? I saw last evening around 5 o'clock, and it was about 8.5 crores. You know how many videos she has which has more than 1 million views? Not one video. I think there are about 11 videos which have more than 1 million views. And she's talking about her life. She's speaking about approach. She's speaking about attitudes. small question for all of us. In case you were born as Lizzie Velasquez, in case you were born as Lizzie, what would have been your approach to life? Very honestly. In case you were born with the body Lizzie has, there are 2 people with that disease. Let's say there were 3 people in the world with that disease, and the third was you. How would you have approached life? With strength? Why not? I mean, why not? And here comes the most important part of the session. What defines you? What defines you? Your looks define you? How you look is so vitally important for you that looks define you. What people think about your looks, is that what defines you? Or is it the money you have? Does your wealth define you? The size of the house that you have, or the car that you drive, or the places you go on holidays. Everything which money can buy, does that define you? And do you feel inferior in front of people who have more money than you? Or significantly more than you? Does that define you? When I come across people who all the time ask this question, और यार वो इतना पैसा वाला उससे मैं क्या बात करूं? And people also say, यार उसने इतना कमाया ना? Money defines us. Educational qualification. MBA from Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, IIMs, engineering from IITs. Does that define us? Somebody asks you what's your name and I say, I'm Naren, I'm from IIT. That's what immediately comes. If you have to define yourself, or if you have to say, this is what is going to define me, what will it be? Do your friends define you? This person is my friend. Or the connections you have, the person whom you know, your network, does that define you? Unless you answer this question, you will always feel very vulnerable to the world. What defines you? Lizzie says, my success, the obstacles I have overcome in life, the goals that I have for the future is what defines me. When she was 16 years old, she says, I wish to have my own family. And people laughed at her and said, what? Who's going to come close to you? Family, who's going to like you? Last I read, she's got engaged. Who wouldn't want a person who has so much strength within? Somebody will. Everybody will not, but somebody will. Lizzie, for me, is a heroine. If there are some glamour stars from the world, in the Lizzie over here, I would love to go to Lizzie, hug her and talk to her and salute her for the way she's lived her life. She shows the world may not understand me, and whatever negativity they give to me, I'm going to use it for me to lift myself. But that's a champion. That is somebody who shows I am unbreakable. So let's do this. In your diaries, write down the sentence, I am unbreakable. And believe in it. And mentally take a decision over here. No bully who calls me a monster can define me. Anything and everything negative that life throws towards me, I'm going to use it to develop myself. For I am unbreakable. And take a few minutes and write down what defines you. What defines you? Power. What defines it? Let's listen to a few of you share it. What I want you to do is, those of you who feel like sharing, you raise your hands. And you will share like this. I'm unbreakable. What defines me is. There are going to be two statements. The first statement compulsorily is, I am unbreakable. And then you say what defines you. Ravi? Your attitude? Which attitude? Okay. Because you are? Mental and physical toughness. Okay. Okay.
I am unbreakable. Empathy defines me.
Okay. So just tell us what defines you. Okay. So I am unbreakable because I can understand. Then what will define you? Right?
I am unbreakable because I take up the challenges and do it.
Fantastic. Now what defines you? What will define you? What will define that?
The challenges is
Okay. Yes, my friend. Two of them together.
I am unbreakable. The belief in myself to make a change in the world defines me.
Beautiful.
I am unbreakable, and the love towards every being on the earth defines me.
Beautiful.
I am unbreakable. Happiness defines me.
Okay.
I am unbreakable. My power is the ability to never give up.
Okay. My ability not to give up defines me. Harshad?
I am unbreakable. My ability to solve issues defines me.
Solve issues defines you. Okay. Yes, some friends at the end.
I am unbreakable. What defines me is my courage to pursue my hobbies and my passion.
Courage to pursue my hobby and passion. Beautiful. Yes.
I am unbreakable. What defines me is myself.
What defines you is yourself.
Yes.
Can you explain that a little more? Okay, we'll come back to it. Yes?
I am unbreakable because what defines me is my passion for betterment of those who don't have.
Okay. Yes, my friends, there in the end, yeah?
I'm unbreakable. My smile and my happiness define everything.
Smile and happiness defines me. Okay, my friend in the last row?
I'm unbreakable because I love myself.
Because I love myself, fair enough.
I'm unbreakable. My ability to carry people with me defines me.
My ability to carry people with me defines me, yes? Is that Girish?
Yes.
Yeah.
I am unbreakable. My ability to inspire others defines me.
My ability to inspire others defines me, fair enough?
I'm unbreakable. What defines me? My ability to learn and implement.
My ability to learn and implement. Fantastic. Jessica? Smile in all situations. Okay. Yes, Anish?
Persistence and my achievements define me.
Persistence and achievement, yes. Because of my organizing skills. Okay. Kundalik?
I am unbreakable. Serve with smile defines me.
Serve with smile defines me. Okay. Yes?
I'm unbreakable. What defines me is my happiness comes from inside and not from outside.
Okay. Yes?
I am unbreakable. My deeds define me.
My deeds define me. Okay?
I am unbreakable. Abundance defines me.
Abundance defines me. Last two friends and then we continue the session. Yes?
I am unbreakable. My ability to succeed defines me.
Your ability to
Succeed.
succeed. Okay?
I am unbreakable. My ability to be balanced defines me.
Balance defines you. Lizzie's life gives me two directions to think. One, definitely it is about what defines me. I've been thinking since I have been writing, discussing, analyzing Lizzie about what will define me tomorrow. And I was thinking keep moving movement will define me. Wow parenting will define me. Through these two work, we should be able to create a mass movement of transformation where we reach out to millions of people and make this world a better place to live in. The clarity, thanks to Lizzie, has given so much focus and strength, and decision making has become so simple. This is what is going to define me. Now let me put all my resources behind this. The second aspect of Lizzie's life is whatever happens, live with courage. And she shows courage in multiple dimensions of life. Courage to accept what cannot be changed. And she keeps on saying, it's okay. I don't have friends, it's okay. People bully me, it's okay. They call me a monster, it's okay. There is no resistance, there is no anger, there is no volcano seething within. Why is the world like this? It's okay if they're like this. She has a disease and she says it's okay. And I don't want a cure. If a cure comes, I am what I am because of it. The ability to accept. I have to eat every 15 minutes, max 30 minutes I can stay without eating. But it's okay. I was speaking to a friend yesterday and she said, oh my God, how will she tackle this pressure of eating every 30 minutes? And Lizzie says, it's okay. All of us will have some things in life that we cannot change. Some of you might have studied from Marathi medium and you might carry a regret that I am from Marathi medium. Actually, my English is not good because I am from Marathi medium. And I tell all of my friends, it's okay. 190 साल मेहनत करके अंग्रेजों को इस देश से भगाया और उनकी भाषा अगर आपको नहीं आती है कोई बड़ी समस्या नहीं है. Absolutely okay. If you understand it and your work happens, it's okay. Don't carry it around your neck as a regret. Okay, if I was good in English, I would have really come. It's okay. How much wisdom will it require and simplicity in thinking to say courageously, it's okay. With that you draw a line to the past. And not to cry about it ever. It's okay. Oh, it requires courage because it's so easy to fall back and blame somebody or something. Like Joseph Campbell says, everybody is searching for a face to blame. If only they looked at the mirror. Courage to say, yeah, I have a body which is like this, it's absolutely okay. Then courage to do what can be done. With this body, with this life, what are the options in front of me? Today Lizzie is a motivational speaker. She is invited by corporates and by countries. She is invited to international forums and she is asked to speak over there. And she speaks and more often than not she gets a standing ovation. With what I have, so much can be done. And that's what Lizzie says. When the world calls me a monster, I have a few options. Either I can cry about what I don't have, or I can be glad about what I have. I don't have friends, but I have a great family. Nobody likes me, but I have a sense of humor. People can stand my face, but they love what I write. Let me use what I have and do what I can. Every now and then the mind want to wander there. But it takes courage to use what you have. Enough lives are a tragedy, not because personally they went through some huge calamities, but because what they had, they did not even use it. It's like I have dal chawal which can fill my stomach, but I wanted roti sabji, and because roti sabji was not there, I starved to death. Dal chawal is there with you, why don't you eat it? No, I want roti sabji. You will like someone, but they will like somebody else, they will get married to them. What will you do? Enjoy dal chawal. रोटी सब्जी नहीं है, पेट भरना भाई, भूखा रहेगा। जब दिल ही टूट गया हम जी के, those songs. Listen to Jhingat every morning. It's okay. इतना विजडम का बात किया Jhingat. It's okay. From now onward, every session, once I mention Jhingat. It's okay. It takes courage to use what we have. It takes foolishness to cry about what we don't have. Yet most lives are tragedies because we cry about what we don't have. And there is so much with which so much can be done. And Lizzie's life is a prime example. Her career is that of an author and a motivational speaker. She used what she had. It takes courage to be happy. And the world says, you are swaggly, you are a monster. And she looks at them and says, yeah, you're absolutely right. But I'm happy. You're right, I look like a monster. You're right, I'm very ugly. But I'm very happy also. Do you see my happiness? And she makes friends. Now the whole world wants her. 850,000 people follow her on YouTube. So you imagine. If any one of us has 850,000 YouTube followers, would you like it? She has. Why? She used what she has instead of crying about what she does not have. So for me, courage, tremendous courage in three things. It's okay. Courage to say what I have is so beautiful and I'm going to use this. And courage to choose to be happy in life. Lizzie is an inspiration to millions of people. And she tells us, tell yourself, I am unbreakable. Find out what is going to define you. And I very deeply believe the day you have been able to find the answer to that question, what defines you, you will be so sorted over here. You will be ready to face anything that the world throws at you. And Lizzie says, those who call me monsters, they are not going to define me. I am going to define myself. Session number 1. Title, I am unbreakable. What is my expectation out of you? Mirror this session with your life. Watch at least one video of Lizzie, which is titled as What Defines You. It has about 11 million views if my memory is right. It's about 15 minutes. The link to that video is there in the PDF file which will be shared with you, which has the essence and the highlights of today's session. So you don't have to go on a blind search. All you need to do is click on the link and you'll be able to read it. Mirror this session with your life. Do some intense soul searching on these two questions. What is hard in your life? And how are you going to deal with it? 2. What defines you? Talk to many people about these two aspects. What is hard about your life? And what defines you? Enter into conversations with people. And by the time you go inside the classroom to speak, you should know what happens in the head of people in conversations when you ask these questions. And by that time, if you have been able to define yourself very beautifully, that this is what defines me. Ideally, something that defines you should be some kind of a success. An approach is a road. And success is a proof that I am on the right path. And that is why we began by asking all of you to write down at least one award that you can think of. Now, can we dare to write, this is the award I am going to get? Let's say, can you dare to write, I am going to get a Padma Vibhushan? Now, what is the kind of work that I should do by which I deserve that award? And let that work that you want to do now define you. Whether the award comes or not, that's a yardstick. What kind of work I need to do to reach there? If you're interested in acting, probably an Oscars. If you're in music, maybe a Grammy. If you're into social work, maybe a Ramon Magsaysay Award. If you want to do something brilliant in research, and again social work, maybe a Nobel Prize. My question is, will you dare, will you also have the courage to think that way? कि चलो वैसा कुछ करते हैं. Now we are not thinking about how a 100 crore company can become 125, And we are not thinking about how a profit of 5 crores can become 7 crores. Because trust me, we all reach a point in life where more money does not make any difference to us. More money does not change anything about our life. But a goal which can impact lives of people. Life keep moving movement. And there must be so much more happening in the world outside. Something very concrete to define you. The way you live your life, the kind of people you will have around you, should all be defined by what defines you. And maybe one day, Lizzie comes searching for you. Where is this guy or where is this girl who is such an inspiration? I want to meet him or her. This is session number 1 for all of us. I am unbreakable. Your responsibility, 50 children inside the classroom should believe they are unbreakable. At the end of the session, they should have a desire for an exceptional award. And they should be able to define the kind of work that they will do by which they will qualify for that award. If we can do that, let's say we train 25,000 children. Just imagine if 25,000 people can live with this conviction that I am unbreakable. Plus 500 more. What happens to this world? It will become a place where nobody calls a Lizzie as ugly. It will be a place where there are no bullies, there is no sadness, there is courage and there is happiness. So wish you all the best in taking this session inside your classrooms. There are some people who inspire you very deep. Now these are the people that when they touch their life, you have a desire to do something which will make them happy. And I have been blessed to know him for the past 4 years. And every time I meet him, I have this desire to do something in life which will make him very proud. In his own way, he has been mentoring me in the last 4 years. When I have doubts, I have approached him and I asked him. And in a conversation we had a few months ago, where I requested him to come and be with us for this morning, I asked him a question on how do you define leadership, or what's the best way to be a leader? And his answer will stay with me for the rest of my life. He said, a leader's biggest responsibility and the most important responsibility is he hands over his work to somebody who will do a much better job than he will do. And that is what leads to success. That is what leads to momentum. That is what leads to a huge impact. A leader's responsibility is not only to do his job and pass it on to somebody else, but pass it on to somebody on whom he has confidence. He will do a much better job than he will do. There are a lot of achievements which are there around his name, but I am not going to tell you that. Because for me, it's the human being and the touch of the human being which is so important. Very genuine, very honest, very sharp, and to me, a very, very motivational person. Please welcome onto the dais our dear friend, Kumar Gera. I was told and cautioned by somebody that you accepted Naren's invitation and you'll be speaking after Naren. Are you aware of that? And after hearing him, I understood what I was being cautioned about, but that's okay. Not my problem, yours. He mentioned something about, when I asked him what should I be speaking about, he said, whatever you feel like. This is what we are. It's up to you. Then he threw in the word motivation. That was another challenge. How the hell do you motivate people and get up on a Sunday morning before 6 o'clock to be here at 8 o'clock? I can't motivate you. No chance. I mean, it's a clear demonstration, announcement and statement of I am motivated. Sunday morning, all of you. My wife thought I was crazy. She's got used to my going off for golf at those hours. But to go out and speak. So, you might notice that I have a problem speaking after him. I have a problem of being required to motivate people who are already motivated. But I want to drop that word problem because many years ago, I decided never to use the word problem. And I have always replaced it with the word challenge. If your wife is a problem, change it to challenge. If your mother-in-law is a problem, change it to a challenge. You'll see it differently if your child is a problem. Just don't use the word problem. So Naren, I'm taking up the challenge. I was thinking about what to speak, and I came across one word. One word that evokes different and simultaneous reactions amongst people. And the reactions it provokes, they range from humor, to outrage, to anger, to disgust, to admiration, to passion. Can anybody guess the word? It's Trump. Think about it. Seeing your motivation, seeing how you are, what you are doing, I truly feel, and I'm not saying this just to make you feel good, I genuinely and truly feel that each of you have been designed for accomplishment. You've been engineered for success. And the seeds of greatness have been sowed in you. I genuinely believe that. It's up to you to make all this happen. Naren, you're a person I greatly admire. You're a motivator. You're compassionate. You're a mentor, a guide, a great human being. And I think you have a leader in the KMM movement, the KM movement, that can make huge changes. I do believe that. You know, I was involved, fortunately, thankfully, Naren didn't go into all the things I've been involved with. But I was involved in a very similar organization. An organization that started in 1915 I wish it had started in India, but it started in the US. It was a worldwide organization. It was an organization that was in India and which I led at the national level in the mid-70s. And it had 500,000 members in 82 countries, which I led in 1979 on a worldwide basis. And the objectives were very similar. It was a self-development organization. It was an organization, it is an organization that trains young people. The difference I see is it was between the ages of 18 to 40 and not beyond that. And it created a platform for leadership development, for self-development, for setting goals, for becoming better human beings, more responsible citizens, and active to support others. It has one of the most beautiful, wonderful creeds that has ever been written, that was practiced and followed by us. But the one thing that came out there, which I'd just like to leave, the connection between that organization and yours, is that, please remember, that the benefit and the output that you will get from KMM is equal to input multiplied by K. And K is a constant which is much more than 1. So your input will give you the benefits and others. So I wish you all well. In fact, you were talking, Naren, about 54 branches in Maharashtra, all over India. I think the numbers will increase very significantly. I don't think your boundary is India. I think you have reached a stage where you can't think of beyond the Indian boundaries. Because this is what the world needs. These are the kind of initiatives which are beneficial to the individuals and beneficial to society. It's a win-win for all. And that is what I believe will make things really happen. You know, I came across a sad, depressing newspaper headline. And I kind of noted those things down, so I will refer to my notes here. In the year 2000, well, the headline said, let me tell you what the headline said. 4.2 million children below age 1 die worldwide in 2016. 4.2 million children. And then the article goes on to say, before they reach the age of 1, 4.2 million children died. And then it went on to say, the article, about the evils and the reasons and the causes and so on. How do you feel about this? What is your first reaction? I think my reaction was very similar to maybe what your reactions are. But then, after doing some other research on this, my response changed and I said, wow, this is fantastic. This is great news. Now, how can anybody think like that? Even one child dying below age 1 is a matter of, is a tragic thing. So I'm not being callous. But when I did some research, you know what I found? I found that in the year 1950, 14.4 million children died before the age 1. And now, that number has come down to 4.2 million. The more important factor was that how many children were born. In 1950, there were 97 million births. And in 2016, there are 141 million births. So 97 million births, tragically 14.4 million did not cross the age 1, 15%.
Now, 141 million births, 4.2 million passed away tragically. That's 3%. It's a drop from 15% to 3%, an improvement of 500%. Why am I saying this? Why am I placing this before you? I'm placing it before you because it's how you look at things. You start off thinking this is terrible, this is a tragedy, this is disastrous, this is unacceptable, but then when you get into it, you understand, and this is part of the positivity that we are talking about. Not to say, not to rest for a minute that that number should not hopefully in some time of the future come down to a zero. And that is what the world must strive for, but not getting despondent, dejected, and get into a negative state of mind. It's the same story, ladies and gentlemen, for traffic in Pune, traffic anywhere. We are all complaining about it. This is terrible. I used to take 10 minutes to reach from here to here, now there are 4 traffic lights, now it takes me 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Okay? What's the positive side of it? How many more vehicles are coming onto the road? How many more people who are on bicycles, who are walking, can now afford to have 2-wheelers and 4-wheelers, and they are on our roads? Not to say that the roads should not improve, not to say that the systems and processes should not improve, but the fact that they are moving up in life, the fact that that tells us our GDP is improving, the fact that that says we are no longer in level 4 of the world, we are moving up to 3 and 2 and we will be in 1. It tells us that. You know, when I'm caught in a traffic jam, try it sometime. Cross roads, everybody cutting, red light is there, somebody's cutting in, there's a gridlock, and then it starts moving. Blood pressure is up of most people. I kind of look at it and I smile. I'm telling you honestly, try it. Think of a dance floor, ballroom dancing. You've seen those movies, the waltz and all, everybody's moving and zigzagging. It's exactly the same. One car will go this way, the other will go that way. You look at it and smile. You won't get blood pressure. And you'll move on to your destination peacefully. The world is changing dramatically around us. But before I go to that, one other point that everybody generally complains about is the population growth. Too many people. Terrible. But do we think about the demographic dividends that India is enjoying because of our numbers? Because of the fact that we don't have to be dependent on exports only, because of our own internal consumption that keeps the country going. So, the foundation, I have believed that the foundation of success, mental attitude, and being able to do all the other things that are necessary, which I will just come to in a bit, is the foundation of positive mental attitude, positivity, and being positive about everything in life. Our world is, we are living in a very fast changing world. Everybody knows this. I mean, the changes are through digitization, mobilization, augmentation. You've got disintermediation. You would be sitting with the gentleman from what land? Yes, from Microland. You know, automation. I don't even know if your children or your grandchildren will need a driver's license. They probably won't be driving the cars. Maybe they'll be flying cars. So this is the kind of world that we are robotics, artificial intelligence. The changes are dramatic. Will doctors be around, consulting doctors be around in 10 years, 15 years? I don't know. With these changes, this transformation, this disruptive change that is around us, you know, I smile when my contemporaries at my age say, our world was such a beautiful place. Those were the good old days. Nowadays, it's this. I think it's utter rubbish. Total nonsense. The world was great then, the world is better now, and it will even be better tomorrow. It's how you make it. It's how you extract from it. It's your positivity that will give you that. Yes, there are so many changes. And if you need a helping hand, just look to the end of your sleeve. Because you've got to help yourself for that. I was in South Africa in 1974. Many of you were not born. And we were sitting one evening, those were the years of apartheid, where the blacks and the whites were segregated. I was there as an honorary white. So I was allowed to go to certain places. I had been given a badge. It was pretty terrible. I went to Soweto and all these places. But one evening we were sitting down and we were talking, and there were some whites there and there was one or two black guys and a couple of us in between. And we were just chatting. And a story came up that I was told. It has kind of stayed in my mind ever since, and I thought you might like to hear this story. The story goes like this, that there is a balloon seller, gas balloon seller, standing on the street and has multicolored, different colored balloons of all colors. And he's on the beach, not on the street, he's on the beach. And children would come up, mostly white children, and would give him a penny or whatever it is and buy the balloon. And to get a crowd attracted, every now and then he would let one go. So the balloon would go into the sky and some more customers would come. The story goes on to say that suddenly one young 4 or 5-year-old black boy came and spoke to the balloon salesman and said, "Sir, you have got a black balloon there. If you leave it, will that also go up?" Now, keep in mind that he has been living in this environment of total segregation, where the blacks were not even allowed to go to certain toilets. Of course, they had to live in a different area. They were not allowed in many areas. And he was about 4 or 5. So he asked a very innocent question, and the balloon salesman smiled and told him, he said, "Son, this balloon goes up because of what's inside it. And it will go up." So it's what's inside you that takes you up. And that kind of has stayed in my mind for a very long time. And I'm always trying to find out what are the things that we require to have inside us to make us go up. And when I say go up, I mean to have success, to enjoy success, to be happy, to be prosperous, and to be useful. These are the things that you require to move up. And if I get into the ingredients, you all know it. You know that the ingredients are knowledge, passion, a fire in the belly, integrity, honesty, hard work, perseverance. These are all things we hear about all the time, we know about it, so I'm not going to delve into it. But I want to come back to the similarity between what you're doing in KMM, I read that little in the book that Naren gave me about molding clay. I look at it a little differently. I think all of us, at a young age, and even later, are like rough, uncut diamonds. Why am I using the word diamond? Because diamond is an expensive, high-value item. But a rough, uncut diamond is not as expensive as a diamond that goes to the diamond factory, to the experts who cut that diamond, shape it, shine it, and polish it, and get the right cuts for that diamond and create a much higher value to it. I think the KMM movement does that. The organization that I was in was doing that for the members. And I think that is the very purpose and essence of what our objectives are for that self-development and what the potential is by the various courses, by the various interactions, by actually doing things that you hear about, by having the opportunity to do things, make mistakes, learn from them, and that cut and polish and shine keeps improving. There was a reference made to this, and I had what I would also like to refer to because it's so important, that the greatest gift that the Almighty has given to us, you know what it is? It's the gift of choice. We can choose. There is no greater gift that we have been given. Our circumstances may be different, our circumstances may be challenging, whatever it is. But it's your right, your opportunity, your freedom to choose how you want to act. And we are free to make our choices. And funnily enough, the choices we make, they lead to actions. And I'm sure you've heard the saying that is rightly said. As you sow an action, you reap a habit. As you sow this habit, you reap a character. And as you sow your character, you reap your destiny. So my friends, your destiny, our destiny, emanates from the choices you make and the actions you take. All up to us. Entirely up to us. तकदीर है, लिखा हुआ है, मैं क्या कहूँ? Naseeb. Is it really that? I'm sure it is that. I'm sure the stars are playing their own role independently. But there's something more that we have to do ourselves. I mentioned earlier that there are various ingredients, and I didn't go into that because each of these topics can be a 2-day, 3-day discussion, seminar, techniques, methodologies to implement, build up, each of them. What we're trying to do today is instant coffee. But I'd now like to come to what I believe, what I have experienced, what I've tried to practice as the most important of all this, the me and you as individuals, as a person. It's my personal belief that I'm sharing with you that the most important, the most gratifying situation is that there are 6 areas that we need to develop as individuals to achieve that, I won't say nirvana, but achieve that state of well-being and happiness in the course of our lives. I'm running out of time, so I will run through this quickly. The 6 areas are in development areas within us. They are family life. Our families, I'm talking about your relationship with family members, immediate family, extended family, grandparents whom you are not meeting for a long time, who may suddenly be gone, cousins, of course immediate family. Your rapport, your relationship, your understanding, your love, your care, mutual. Your physical condition, your health, the development of your physical abilities and condition of your health. Intellectual, financial, spiritual, and social. What I have found, that if a person grows in 5 out of these 6 areas, that happiness, that thing might be eluding him. Unless there is a balanced growth in all 6, you're financially stable, you have good health, you have a happy family, you're spiritually inclined, and spiritual means different things to different people, whatever be your spiritual beliefs. You're socially involved, accepted. If all these 6 grow, and they can grow through a process, through a system, through a scientific, I won't say scientific, but through a process, which covers examining yourself today, doing an introspection, where are you in each of these areas. There are some hard questions that come up, very hard questions. Will you have adequate funds when your kids get married? Will you have adequate funds when you retire? That's the financial part of it. There are very hard questions that come up in this. And then you analyze those questions, you see where you are, you work out a plan of action, where you would like to be, totally confidential, it's just for yourself, you're not talking about it to others, and you find the solutions, you find the way forward in each of the areas, and you try to develop yourself in those areas. So, if the growth happens in a balanced way, I have found, and I've tried to do this, and I have said no to many things because it was going off balance. There was too much emphasis going into one area. I've said no to that, and I've tried to do this. I've delayed some things, but it has given me great joy in focusing on these 6 areas. Naren, thank you very much for having invited me here today. It's been a great learning for me being present here, listening to you and understanding how you all are doing the great things that you all are doing. I wish you all continuing success and immense growth beyond the national boundary. Thank you very much.
Just take a few more minutes. Let's go through a very quick round of what are your main takeaways from today's session. Oh, brilliant. Meena? Courage to be happy. Nima?
From today onwards, I will say that I don't have a lot of challenges, but it's okay.
Lot of challenges, but it's okay. Yes? Huh? Choice or making choice, important choice. Jessica? Thinking about words in traffic, right? Everything? Think and work over it, okay? Yeah? Fine. Replace problem with challenges, Pankaj.
If I need a helping hand, I just need to look up the end of the sleeve.
End of the sleeve, there is a helping hand for me. Yes, Girish?
Listen to Zingard every morning.
Okay. Yes?
I am unbreakable.
I am unbreakable. Friend in front. You have two of you and with that we close. Yeah. Pizza?
It's like the firstly means that all 6 cells for the life that 6 cells required.
Yeah, so all the 6 has to balance. Tyra? Okay, as of now, 5 out of 6, but make it 6 out of 6. That's what you're saying? Yes. Okay, because in cricket there is no score like 5. Thank you so much, all of you coming. A very, very special thanks to Sharad ji. Now, Sharad Heda is the advisor to Keep Moving Movement. He's flown in from Bangalore to be with all of us. We have created an app to make life for volunteers and students easy. There will be some hitches in the app. So have a little low expectations from the app, but across a few days, we will do everything which is required to make the app a very brilliant thing. Please keep the communication alive, and the work of the app has been possible because of 3 people, Paresh, Anish and Sharadji. So, a very, very heartfelt thank to Kumar on having accepted our invitation to come here. Let's sing the national anthem. Jana Gana Mana Adhinayak Jaya He Bharat Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravid Uttar Banga Himachal Yamuna Ganga Uchchal Jaladi Taranga all the best.